NASA unveils $600 million planetary defense system after devastating asteroid slips net. Bill McClellan, Express UK reports. Remember what happened July 25th. An asteroid came by. It was supposed to pass the moon, going out into space, and it didn't. It careened into the Caribbean Ocean. And the astronauts claimed that it was the Yarkovsky effect because the sun's rays heated the surface of the asteroid and it caused it to tumble on its axis and then careen into the Caribbean Ocean instead of going straight forward out into space. So this is something new. They're learning things that are new every day. That's how they explained that to us. And there are others that they never saw. They never saw the interplanetary comet, the Borisov comet. An astronomer, an amateur astronomer, found that with his little telescope. NASA has unveiled plans to build a $600 million planetary defense telescope to detect asteroids on collision course with Earth. That's their aim, tracking every asteroid. The telescope was unveiled after an asteroid capable of destroying a city, they're called city killers, almost collided with Earth 2 months ago. Classed as an astronomical near miss, the asteroid was only detected 1 day before it entered the Earth's vicinity. Speaking on an asteroid, NASA's planetary defense officer Lindley Johnson said, "This one did sneak upon us, and it is an interesting story on the limitations of our survey network." Also, NASA's Center for Near-Earth Studies manager Paul Chodas, he's the man that also set up the tabletop exercise for mitigating an asteroid impact, and that took place in the United States. Next year it will take place somewhere in Europe. Well, manager Paul Chodas told the Times that this object slipped through a whole series of our capture nets. It slipped through all of them. He says, "I wonder how many times this situation has happened without the asteroid being discovered at all." This was the severity of the near miss that it helped greenlight NASA's new telescope to help detect the planetary rocks from further away. The new infrared telescope will be based on a previous concept, the NEOCAM, which was originally proposed in 2013. The failure of the project is something NASA Associate Administrator Mr. Zurbuchen was the one of the biggest screw-ups, he says, of my job. In order to receive more funding, the telescope is classed as planetary defense rather than a scientific mission. 15 years ago, NASA was tasked by the U.S. Congress to detect 90% of near-Earth objects larger than 459 feet by 2020. Now, despite no funding being diverted to the project, there have been 20,000 NEOs that have been catalogued. The new satellite, however, should increase the discovery rate by 65% within its first 5 years, according to NASA. That figure could increase to around 90% within a decade of the launch. Laurie Grays, director of the Planetary Science Division of the Science Mission Directorate, said, "I think this is a big step. It's something that we've wanted to do for quite a while." As things stand now, the process of discovering asteroids was linked to trying to spot a lump of coal in the night sky, according to an astronomer Amy Mainzer. She's part of NASA's asteroid hunting mission. She said NEOs are intrinsically faint because they are mostly really small, far away from us in space. And add to this the fact that some of them are as dark as printer toner. Trying to spot them against the black of space is very hard. In 2013, an asteroid exploded over Chelyabinsk in Russia, and it produced a shock wave which damaged thousands of buildings. I think 7,000 was the number. It also injured about 1,500 people. The prospect of an infrared telescope combining with large synoptic survey telescope a ground-based facility being built in Chile, will eventually ramp up Earth's asteroid defenses and turn the current goals into reality. And according to Jay Melosh, planetary scientist at Purdue University, he warned of how many asteroids there are in space and which also need the help of an infrared system to detect them. He said there are a lot of really dark asteroids out there, and that pushes the need for the infrared system. Right now, the majority of NASA's budget is spent on the Double Asteroid Redirect Test DART mission being built by Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Lab and is set for completion by 2021. DART seeks to test the possibility of deflecting the path of an asteroid as opposed to destroying it, nudging it out of its trajectory, that is. Though funding is a big question in the advancement of the agency's defense systems, the mission does mark a development step towards NASA taking an external group's proposal and adapting it for its internal work. According to Space Weather Today, we've had about 23 fireballs coming towards Earth. This is the All-Sky Fireball Network, scanning the skies above the United States for meteoric fireballs. It's an automated software maintained by NASA's Meteoroid Environment Office, and it calculates their orbits, velocity, penetration, depth in Earth's atmosphere, and many other characteristics. Daily results represented here as space weather, 23 fireballs for September 30th. And then we have a near-Earth asteroids listing, recent and upcoming Earth asteroid encounters. On September 30th, 2019, there were 2,018 potentially hazardous asteroids. The space rocks larger than about 300 feet across that can come closer to Earth than 0.05 AU. None of the known PHAs, potentially hazardous asteroids, is on collision course with our planet, although astronomers are finding new ones all the time. And there are those fireballs, like this one over England, that people are lucky enough to have images of, videos of them from their dash cams of their cars, or perhaps even their amateur telescopes. They'd be lucky enough to find, as Borisov did from Crimea, an interstellar comet. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.